And we're joined now by the CEO of the US Studies Centre at the University of Sydney, Jeff Garrett. Jeff, can I begin by asking you, what is the significance of Ted Kennedy's death today?
Well, I think one thing President Obama didn't say is that President Obama's ascent to power owes a lot to Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy, at a time when mainstream Democrats were still either on the sidelines or supporting Hillary Clinton in the Democratic nomination battle last year, Ted Kennedy came out and said it's time for a change and Barack Obama is the person. So the president owes him something in the short term. In the longer term, obviously, this is really the end, not of our generation, but several generations of Kennedy power at the very top of American politics.
Will history be kind to him, do you think?
I think it probably will be. He has a moment of infamy, the infamous night in Chappaquiddick in 1969, but which probably made it impossible for him to succeed his brother as president. But he went on to have an extraordinarily influential career in the Senate, really anchoring the left of American politics, but respected by everyone for his passion and his commitment to the issues he cared about.
I don't want to dwell on the dark times of his life, but just explain to us what happened at Chappaquiddick and why it was so important and such a turning point for the Kennedys.
Well, we don't really know what happened at Chappaquiddick, of course,
exactly.
40 years later. But what we do know that happened is that Ted Kennedy drove a car off a bridge. A young woman who was with him died in the accident, and Ted Kennedy didn't report it until the next day. He was cleared of all charges except the one for walking away from the scene of a crime without reporting it to the police.
How will America celebrate and mark his death?
It's a very interesting question. I would expect there will be lots and lots of tributes pouring in, including from Republicans. Nancy Reagan, for example, gave a moving tribute to Senator Kennedy today. But I would expect that some Democrats are going to try to use this as a rallying cry to get through the piece of legislation that Ted Kennedy cared most about, universal health care. President Obama has a plan in front of Congress. It's in big trouble today, and one might expect the Democrats to try to use Ted Kennedy's passing as a rallying cry for this issue.
But with such a looming deficit, I think it's, $9 trillion over the next 10 years, how on earth can they push that through the House?
Well, that's an interesting question. Barack Obama said 6 months ago or so, this is too good a crisis to waste. I'm going to try to use the financial crisis as an opportunity to bring big reform to the US. The problem is he spent a lot of money and it's all red ink, and now he's asking Americans to swallow another $1 trillion to get universal health care through. I think it was always going to be an uphill battle. Whether it's more of an uphill battle or an easier battle with Ted Kennedy's passing, we'll know in a few weeks, I think.
Jeff Garrett of the US Studies Centre, thank you very much for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.